Welcome to another episode of Driveway Mechanicking. Today I just had a day off, so I decided I was going to go ahead and get a jump start on it for the weekend to pull this motor. So I started on the transmission, got my exhaust, everything unplugged up under there, main basic ordeal. If you can't unplug a dang wire, then you might just need to take it to the shop or have somebody else that knows what they're doing do it. So the first thing that you need to do is disconnect your drive shaft. We'll walk over here. And usually if you have your drive shaft sitting in there for any length of time, like a day, 2, 3 days, and you know it's going to rain eventually, wrap a trash bag around it. Wrap some tape around it. Get that taken care of. Then your next step is drop your transmission down, get everything up under there undone. You can see wires hanging right over there. I don't know if you can see it or not. But disconnect your shifter, all your wiring, drop your drive shaft, unbolt your cross member bolts from the transmission's hooked to, then slide a motorcycle jack. Any kind of jack will work. You just need to slide it right up under there and drop your transmission down once you drop your cross members. You'll have one up here in the front, and the second one will be about the dead center of this door. Pull all them bolts out. Drop your transmission down. It's just that simple. Sometimes you gotta pet your kitty every once in a while too. Good old Coors Light. Big old Bobcat. Okay, so I made a little mistake. Before you drop this transmission off this cross member, you need to unbolt your starter. And then try to get this exhaust out of your way if possible. If not, it should just slide out and go up under the passenger side there. And then as soon as you get done with that, you need to unbolt your torque converter from your flywheel. Those are the two or three things that you need to get done first. Dang cat. Now your starter bolt is located right here. It's going to have a bolt right up here. If I can get it in here with my phone, here's a bolt right here, right here. 15 millimeter should take that thing loose. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so now the starter is out. Always replace all the bolts. Remember this because I've screwed up and lost them before. Always put your starter bolts back where they go. Any bolt that has threads, you usually put it back where it goes and back in the truck. Alright, now it's time for me to go ahead and unbolt the torque converter from the flywheel. You might ask yourself, if you pull the transmission and everything else, you won't have to do all that. That is true. But when you get it out, how are you going to get them separated whether the torque converter is still attached? I mean, even if you had a blown motor, you'd be running into the same problem. But it's a lot easier to go ahead and disconnect everything, get it unbolted. That way you can make the decision whether you want to pull the transmission out with the engine or leave the transmission in there and then bolt it back up when it gets done. Or when it gets stabbed is what I meant to say. Whenever you stab the motor, you can bolt the transmission up or bolt the transmission up while it's on the ground, whatever you want to do. But it's easier to unbolt everything that goes to the transmission from the engine at this point. Okay, so it's dark up under that truck, so I can't show you what I just did. But I can show you to this motor right here. Alright, this is your flex plate, flywheel, whatever you want to call it. Alright, this over here is your torque converter. Now, on all vehicles there are, see, I even put the bolts back in. This one I ain't used yet. But, you see, there are 4 bolts on here. 4 bolt holes on there. So now, you have to go up under the motor, right up in here somewhere, or back here where the starter is. It'd be a lot easier one way or the other, and unbolt everything. Oh, hang on a minute. You have to unbolt all 4 bolts, and that will disconnect your torque converter from your flywheel or flex plate, whatever you want to call it. When you get done with that, get you a pry bar and shove that thing, your torque converter, shove it back towards the transmission. Won't hurt it, nothing. After you do that, you'll have, this is where your starter bolt will go. See, you got these little nibbles here, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, possibility of, well, there's 8 bolts altogether, or 6 bolts altogether to unbolt all that. If you got a plate up under there protecting your transmission to your engine, that'll be 10 bolts. But you're looking at, you know, this shit. So that many bolts just to unbolt your transmission from your engine. Then you can pull everything back, and it'd be a lot easier showing people in person, but I'm trying. So cut me some slack. Useful tip: when you're unbolting your torque converter from your flywheel or flex plate, whatever you want to call it, always get you a second person. That's why I said at my first video, get your wife, your girlfriend, your friend, your son, whatever, daughter, and have them push this thing down and get the bolts lined up. Take that torque converter off. If you got a blown motor, you can't do that. You got to pull engine and transmission at the same time. Now once you get your starter off, your flywheel, bolts undone from your transmission to, well, engine, well, hang on a minute. I think I see something wrong here. Oh, no, okay. So once you get your starter unbolted, your torque converter unbolted that's in your transmission, you're ready to go ahead and drop this. Now, I've already pulled one cross member out. Where them 2 bolts are, there's 2 bolts on the other side too. There's a little bit of cross member that I threw off in the bushes over there because I got mad. Take these 2 bolts out and them 2 bolts out. Be sure to have a jack or a motorcycle jack, some type of jack up under there to where you can lower the thing down smooth and easy. Well, smooth and easy. Sorry about the video because it's hard to do with one person. But take these out after you put a jack and lower your transmission down. Make sure you have some type of drain pan because transmission fluid will come out of that thing as it's coming down. You'll have to put transmission fluid back in it. So that'd be something you could put on your shopping list, like oil, transmission fluid. But just go ahead and get you a transmission filter and redo this thing too. Seal and everything. Muffler will come out, transmission will come down, you're ready to go. So that step's completed. The next step is after you drop this and take this out, is you gotta unbolt all them bolts I showed you on that motor over there that's on the stand. That's the main steps that you're fixing to have to take. This and unbolt it from there, pull the transmission back, set it on the ground. You're done. You're ready to pull that motor out. Okay, so 18mm socket, 18mm wrench, and this truck number will come out. Now, back here, it is time to drop your transmission down to unbolt it from the motor, which you're fixing to see right now, slowly. There she comes, slowly, got the drain pan ready to go, nothing's coming out. I think she's hung up, but anyways, you get the idea. And I think I'm probably going to take it take off today because I still got to run to town and go pick up some parts for another car that I'm working on. But anyways, that'll conclude my video for today. I'll pick up on this next week. Or this weekend, my bad.